Hi guys, with the exception of Phil from A Different Bias and James O'Brien, I think commentators in Great Britain have very little understanding of Northern Ireland, the Good Friday Agreement, and how Brexit was such a big problem for the whole island of Ireland. Tory Brexiteers and their friends in the media dismiss the concerns of people in Ireland North and South and worries Europe and the US had when it came to the implementation of Brexit. It has only recently begun to dawn on some that leaving the single market would require a border of some sort. So I was disappointed to see Kay Burley demonstrate such a poor understanding of the situation when she spoke to Sinn Féin leader Mary Lou McDonald when they discussed Brexit. Have a listen to this.
It's been 7 years nearly since the UK voted and Northern Ireland voted not to be part of the European Union anymore.
So the North of Ireland didn't vote not to be part of the European Union?
You're part of the United Kingdom.
Au contraire, people in the North voted to remain. And just be very clear that it was deeply, deeply unsettling for the entire island of Ireland, this Brexit. And by the way, I respect, the right of people in England, across Britain, to say we no longer wish to be part of the European Union. That is absolutely your prerogative, and I would not wish to intrude on that. But I do have to remind you that that decision had very, very far-reaching implications for where I live and for my country. And I have to say that that reality was not recognised, in my view, in the course of the entire Brexit debate. And then only very belatedly after the fact, the penny dropped. Well, actually, Ireland, the island of Ireland, is a single landmass. We have a peace process, to the credit of everybody, that has been painstakingly built now over decades. For 25 years, a quarter of a century, Kay, of the Good Friday Agreement and peace. And that the Brexit phenomenon could not overturn, upturn, upend all of that. No responsible person would wish to have that. So I don't believe, and I do not accept for a second, that the anybody in Europe has used the North to punish anyone. I think we have all simply recognised a reality that in order for Britain, having taken its decision, the realities of that come home to roost on the island of Ireland. And then we have to ask, how do we keep the lights on our island? How do we protect the peace? How do we protect the all-Ireland economy? How do we protect people's job prospects, their standard of living? And that's responsible work, I think. And I think the challenge is, I would cast differently.
Go on.
I think the challenge has proven to convince the British government not to act unilaterally, to convince the British government that it is not a good look for them to announce to the world that they will trash and break international law.
Yes, and I think it's important for us to compare the government of today and the government of 1997, 1998. The Tony Blair government compared to the Rishi Sunak government, or the Boris Johnson government, or the brief government of Liz Truss. Completely different. Tony Blair's government understood the challenges, understood what was required of both sides, and understood the situation in Northern Ireland. Instead, what you have today is you have a Brexiteer government who don't care about Northern Ireland, don't care about the consequences of Brexit. They don't care about the consequences of Brexit in Great Britain when they're advising businesses just to set up in the EU. So why should they care about Northern Ireland? And it's very disappointing that in the run-up to the vote, as Mary Lou McDonald said here, there was no mention of Northern Ireland. There was no mention of the peace process. There was no mention of the all-Ireland economy. What was going to happen? When it was raised, it was dismissed as scaremongering. The Irish government raised it on a number of occasions. Nationalists, so pro-Irish nationalists in Northern Ireland raised it as an issue. It was dismissed. It will be fine. Don't worry. Nothing to worry about. And now we see the consequences of that. You had the DUP in Northern Ireland campaigning for Brexit. Of course, they were hoping that it would result in a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. They didn't care about the peace process. They didn't sign up to it in 1998. They were against it. So they would have been happy to see the Good Friday Agreement trashed and have a hard border on the island of Ireland. Now the British government somewhat understood, even the Brexiteers understood the consequences of that. And in a sort of ironic sense, the fact that the Brexiteers didn't care about Northern Ireland, they didn't also care about the Union. So they were happy to see a border put between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Disappointed with Kay Burley here, starting off with saying that Northern Ireland voted for Brexit. Northern Ireland did not vote for Brexit in the same way that Scotland did not vote for Brexit, but they are suffering the consequences of Brexit. You have the Republic of Ireland who didn't want Brexit in the first place. They're suffering the consequences of Brexit as well. I said before, the Northern Ireland Protocol is the fire extinguisher, while Brexit is the fire. And unfortunately, the arsonists are still in charge. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.